And I'm going to say, hey, Gwen, this is Kirsten. I'm ready to go when you're ready to go.
Thank you. We are 1 minute shy of 2:15, so we'll just sit tight for 1 more minute and then jump in. Okay, it is 2:15, so I'm going to call Administration and Finance to order. Our last meeting went a bit long, so this is a short turnaround. But if you are a counselor here for the meeting, please turn on your screen so that we can see you. In a couple of minutes, I'll call for public comment on items not on the agenda. If you are attending the meeting, you can attend by computer by clicking on Join the Meeting link on the agenda. For landline and cell phone users, there are phone numbers listed on the agenda. You are always free to call council and leave a voicemail at 552-6012. And of course, you can always send us email. If you want to make public comment, you'll need to press *9 to raise your hand. In the meantime, Kirsten, could you do roll call and then we will come back to public comment.
Great. Anderson. Becerra.
Present.
Santos.
Here.
Harp.
Present.
Hess. Hess. Okay, he's out. Jones is here. Merritt.
Here.
Ramos. I believe Jesse's out for the afternoon. Cheryl.
Present.
Vasika.
Present.
Von Lossberg.
Here.
And West.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. We have minutes to approve from October 14th, 2020. Are there any changes to those minutes? Seeing none, those will stand approved. And is there any public comment on items not on the agenda? Again, press *9 if you want to raise your hand to speak. Seeing no public comment, we will go on with our committee business. And actually, you can take that the public comment information sheet down. Kirsten, appreciate that. Under committee business, the first item that we're going to address is 3.1, the Trinity Affordable Housing Development Bond Resolution. And we have Erin Pehan here to present on that. Good afternoon, Ms. Pehan.
Good afternoon. Thank you again, Erin Pehan, the Office of Housing and Community Development. We are here today to ask Council to adopt a resolution and schedule a public hearing related to a project on behalf of Blue Line Development. The project is one that has been before you many times for a variety of different issues, the Trinity Affordable Housing Development. And this project is a collaboration between Homeward, the Missoula Housing Authority, and Blue Line Development Group. Each of those organizations bringing expertise and experience that will be necessary to complete the construction and the effective operation of this housing development. The project will be a tax-exempt bond finance deal using 4% low-income housing tax credits and tax-exempt bonds issued by the City of Missoula. The use of the tax credits and tax-exempt bonds allows the developers to borrow less money during the construction phase, which passes savings along to individuals and families as lower rent. As I mentioned, this item was before Council almost 1 year ago today, and a public hearing was held to adopt a resolution pertaining to the issuance of bonds. Changes in the financing structure have necessitated a new application to the state of Montana to rise the volume cap for bonds by $7 million. This in turn necessitates a new resolution passed by City Council and a new public hearing process. So the project is in good standing and moving towards a construction start in the spring of 2021. And with that, I will turn it over to Keenan and Christian with Blue Line Development to walk us through the project and the changes outlined through the new resolution.
Thanks, Erin. Like Erin said, I'm Keenan Witt with Blue Line Development. My colleague Christian Pritchett and I are going to present a little short presentation for you. Let me cue this up. Can you guys, let's see. Can you see it? Yes, okay, I see nods. Okay, perfect. So Trinity Apartments, just a quick overview of the project. 202 homes. We have a manager's unit in there on Cooley Block and Mullen Road next to the detention center. So 72 homes at Cooley and 130 at Mullen, 30 of which are permanent supportive housing homes for chronically homeless. In addition, on the Mullen site, we have a navigation center, which is to provide support services for those who need it. This below is an org chart of the partnership with Homeward and MHA and our limited partner, the investor, and Blue Line as the developer consultant. Again, just a quick overview of those sites. We have the Cooley site over on the north side and then the Mullen site next to the detention center. So I wanted to take this opportunity to just give you guys a reminder of the goals and funding sources that we're using on this project. The 4% non-competitive housing tax credits and tax-exempt financing from the Montana Board of Housing. And then we obviously are meeting the goals of a place to call home, and then reaching home, the 10-year plan to end homelessness, and then also the Missoula County Jail Diversion Plan. So thus far, this is how the project has progressed over the last year. So in September of 2019, we submitted our 4% application and we were awarded from the Board of Housing. In the spring, we submitted applications to Department of Commerce for home and housing trust funds, which were both awarded. City of Missoula home funds have been awarded. We're taking the project, at least the Mullen site, through a subdivision process with development services, and that's moving great right now. We're hoping for that approval towards the end of the year. And then October, November is City Council public hearing. Here we are. And then December of 2020, 1st of December, we'll be applying for building permits. Construction to begin in the spring of 2021. And then late 2022, the project will be fully leased and occupied. So this is where I'm going to turn it over to Christian, because this is why we're in front of you today, is to talk about the bond structure of this deal. Christian, are you there?
Self unmuted there. First, thanks for having us. Appreciate the opportunity to be back in front of all of you. I want to just very quickly review the tax-exempt loan structure that we're contemplating here. As a reminder, the issuer of the bonds, which in this case is the City of Missoula, acts as the governmental lender, and that governmental lender basically creates the bond issuance through either an indenture or a series of indentures with what we call the upstream loan docs, which then passes those bonds on to the project lender, which in this case would be a bank. We're finalizing negotiations with a particular bank to act as that project lender, who then privately places those bonds or sells those bonds to an investor and uses the proceeds of those bonds to fund the project note, which in this case is the construction loan. When you hear that term, the project note, that's another term for a construction loan that then comes into the deal with an interest rate attached to it and looks just like any other construction loan that you would see on any other project. The difference is that the expense associated with the interest on those loans is quite a bit lower under a tax-exempt structure as opposed to a taxable structure. The reason that we're back in front of you guys to ask for additional bond cap is really twofold. One is obviously we try to minimize the overall interest expense associated with the construction financing of this project, but also it's really an effort to simplify the overall financing structure. If we didn't have the additional bond cap that we're requesting from you guys today, it would actually require 2 different bond issuances and 2 different loans at both the governmental level as well as the project level. And so this should significantly simplify the process for both the city of Missoula and our construction loan lender, because it will only require 1 indenture, 1 tax-exempt bond issuance, 1 indenture under that issuance, and 1 set of loan docs from both the governmental lender and the project lender. So I think it will decrease everybody's level of headache associated with this deal. If we didn't have the additional bond cap, we would have a tax-exempt bond issuance and a taxable bond issuance, and then a separate set of both governmental loan docs and project loan docs associated with each of those issuances or indentures. And then obviously the interest rate on those taxable bond docs would be somewhat higher than the tax-exempt bonds, and therefore result in additional expense to the project. Not to mention additional legal expense, for at all levels from both the bond issuance side as well as the construction lender side. So that's why we're here in front of you, and there's obviously overall net benefit to the project, but I think hopefully we can convey to you guys the kind of streamlining approach that we're presenting to the city as well by asking for this additional bond cap. So if we want to jump into the next slides, I think we kind of just talked about this. So I don't know if it's appropriate to pause here and take any questions on any of the specifics around the different types of bond allocation or why we're asking for this, or if you guys want us to jump into kind of the progress set to date on what the project looks like and what we'll be giving you guys in return for your blessing on this bond cap.
Thanks. I am not seeing any questions from council. I do appreciate the overview you gave on how by basically consolidating this, you're simplifying the process. So that I think that helps frame it. We do not have a lot of time. So if you quickly want to go through kind of an update, that would be great. I do have 3 other items on the agenda and I'm supposed to be done by 3 o'clock. So it's all going to work out. But if you do have an update, a quick update, that would be great.
Yep, the end of the presentation is just the pretty pictures that our design team has put together for the project. And we are approaching 100% completion on those design documents. And our team is moving ahead really strongly and doing a great job. So this is the Cooley Street site. Obviously, we have 4 buildings going on here. There's row houses on either side, and then apartments in the 2 other buildings, larger buildings. So there is underground parking associated with those apartment buildings. This is the site plan for Mullen. It's essentially 1 building with 3 uses. The brownish color is the traditional workforce homes. The red color is the permanent supportive housing, and the blue is the navigation center. And this is what that rendering will look like. We really wanted to be cognizant of the commercial feel of that navigation center and have that facing outwards, just in terms of wayfinding and making sure that people are able to navigate that site appropriately for the 3 separate uses. Here's another look of those buildings. This is a 4-story building, so it is large, but we have been able to decrease the project cost by essentially making it 1 building. And this is another look of just the navigation center. And within that navigation center, we obviously have service space, clinic space, community room space. We're hoping to provide or will provide lots of space for various different services to be delivered within that building for years to come. As the services may change over time or providers may change, we want to make that space as flexible as possible.
Great. It is wonderful to see these drawings, and I'm super excited, and I'm glad you were able to have these drawings to give us a quick update, because we've talked about this for many, many months now, and now to see drawings and visuals is it really starts to create the picture for us. So I appreciate that. Any questions from council? Ms. Anderson?
Ms. Jones, do you need a motion?
I do.
I'm happy to make said motion.
Okay.
And to speak to it quickly,
Absolutely.
this is an exciting project that will have a large impact in our community. I'm supportive of this, and I'm glad that this is another way to simplify the process. And I'm excited that the city of Missoula is partnering with this development.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other hands raised from council, I do have public comment on this. Ms. Van Fossen, are you able to unmute yourself and speak?
How does a member of the public get a copy of this really good presentation?
Let me see, Keenan or Christian, is it your presentation? And
It is my presentation. I would be happy to share.
I'm wondering, maybe Keenan, if you can email it to me, and Ms. Van Fossen, if you can obtain my email and email me, and I'll connect the two of you, and then I don't have to say emails over the public realm. Would that work, Ms. Van Fossen?
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay, send everything to me and I'll get it on to Ms. Van Fossen. I appreciate that. Great. Did any other comments, Ms. Van Fossen?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Von Lossberg.
I was just going to suggest we could, when you get that, we could ask the clerk's office to post it with the committee items. I think there's probably more widespread interest, and that way it would be available to everybody.
That's a much better idea. I appreciate that. But also I'm happy to send it on to you, Ms. Van Fossen, if I get your email. Ms. Cheryl.
Just wondering if you could put it on Engage Missoula. Is there I haven't been on the site recently, but might be a way to put some of the information up there if it's not already there.
Yeah, we're currently in the process of building an Engage page for Trinity and should have that live this week if it isn't already. And so we'll make sure it's on there as well.
Great. Thank you. Okay, seeing no other public comment or questions or comments from council, we will take a roll call vote on this motion. And this, I will add, this sets a preliminary hearing on November 23rd, as well as preliminary approval.
Anderson,
Yes.
Becerra, Pontos,
Yes.
Harp,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Merritt,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Basika,
Yes.
Von Lossberg,
Yes.
and West.
Yes.
Looks like we have 10 yeses and 2 absent.
And Kirsten, this is Jordan. I joined a few minutes late, but I will vote yes.
Okay, I'll get you, Jordan.
Thanks.
And this is Jesse, and I joined late and will also vote yes.
Thank you, guys. I'll get you both.
Thank you.
I think we have everyone present at this point except Ms. Becerra, who had to step out. Yes, we've had some quick turnaround on meetings today, but we're getting it done. Thank you. That will go on the consent agenda. And the next item I'm going to do is 3.4, contract for relationship violence services with Jim Nugent. We have 2 other items. Those are both being presented by Dale Bickle, so I'll put those at the end. Mr. Nugent, I see you are here. And can you introduce this item for us, please?
Okay, can you hear me?
We sure can.
All right, this is just the annual COLA adjustment, the update to the relationship violence services that we contract for. Chantel is the one that usually makes the presentations to you about those services. And then Dale set this up so that this contract with them is as a home in our office, I guess you'd say. So there's only an increase of $4,799 involved, and it is just the inflationary adjustment.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council regarding this? Seeing none, I am looking for a motion. Ms. Merritt.
I'd be happy to make the recommended motion. Of course, I wish that we were increasing that amount by a lot more than 4,000 and change, but happy to support the relationship violence services.
Thank you. Any other questions from council or comments? Any public comment regarding this item on the contract for relationship violence services? Seeing none, we will take a roll call vote. Everyone's here but Ms. Becerra.
Gotcha, thank you. Anderson,
Yes.
Contos,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Hess,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Merritt,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Vasika,
Yes.
Von Losberg,
Yes.
West.
Yes.
We have 11 yeses and 1 absent.
Thank you. That will go on the consent agenda. Thank you, Jim. The last 2 items we have are 3.2 and 3.3 resolutions for lease contracts for properties. And Dale, you are here to present on these in whatever order you wish.
Thank you. I'll start in order of the referrals. First is a lease with the Sovereign Hope Church at 301 Main, which is we commonly known as the Payne Block or the old library site. Just to back up a little bit, the city took possession of this through a donation from Terry Payne, and library recently moved out, and we have hired a property manager to get used to that building while we undergo master planning on the site for eventual redevelopment. So what's operating in there today is Base Camp, the Parks and Recs expanded daycare in response to COVID and the hybrid model that's there. So they are using it now 5 days a week and operating their base camp out of that site. The proposed lease today is a bit related to the emergency shelter lease or contract that you heard in a cow. The tenant at the emergency winter, the new emergency winter shelter site was Sovereign Hope Church. They had intended to move out this fall into their new facility on 3rd Street, but however, their construction delays didn't allow them to be able to move out. But we had previously identified this site, that site as needed for emergency winter shelter. So we worked with them to come up with an alternative so we could actually operate that winter shelter, but we didn't want to leave Sheck in the lurch. And so we were able to negotiate a lease here at the Payne Block. So what this lease represents is their ability to hold their services and use office space on Sundays. It's in the same area that Base Camp is used, but it's on weekends. They've made provisions for the transition and COVID-related cleaning that has to happen. That's a fair market value lease, so it's $4,500 a month. That lease amount changed as we were working with our property manager to ensure that it was fair market value. And so the referral says 2,500, but the lease says 4,500, and that's correct. So that's the first lease.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on this lease? And to clarify, just as you said, Dale, it's $4,500 per month, and that is market rate. Ms. Anderson.
Do we have a timeline on how long this lease is going to be in effect for?
Yes, it's intended to be short term. They intend to be able to be done with their project by the spring, be able to move out. I don't recall off the top of my head what the lease date is, but it is intended to be short term. We intend to start master planning this process, this block in the spring as well, so we can start moving towards redevelopment.
Great, thanks so much. Happy to make the motion if you need it, Ms. Jones.
Okay, let's tell you what, let's have Dale present on the second one, and then we'll come back and do motions and vote on both of them individually. But let's keep going with the presentations for now. Thank you, Dale.
Thank you. The next lease is for the property at 1835 North. Now this seems related to emergency wheelchair shelter, but it's not. This is a lease with Hope Rescue Mission. They operate a line of business where they recycle clothing. They keep about 200,000 pounds of textiles out of the landfill. They have the ability to expand that operation and increase that amount that they are recycling. Now it is just that, it's just a warehousing function. They're where they bale these textiles and send them out. It's not any type of retail function or not. And it is in a separate warehouse that is across from on the same block as the Johnson Street Community Center facility where Winter Shelter is going. But it's a site that has been empty since the city acquired it a few years ago when we constructed Montana Rail Link Park. But with the new property management service, we were able to get a tenant in there, and it's one that is help us cover our costs of that facility and actually provide a great benefit for the community.
Great, thank you, Dale. Any questions regarding the lease at 1835 North Avenue? Ms. Merritt.
That answers the question that I was trying to ask on behalf of one of my constituents earlier. That so Dale, what you just said is that they're just using this warehouse space to bale up the clothing. They're not selling it out of this location, correct?
That's correct. They are not.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. West? You're muted, Heidi.
I know, I'm just so slow finding the button. This is probably a little bit broader of a question than just specific to the lease, but with this expanded facility, is clothing that they get only from their thrift store donations, or is this a broader community service where, you know, we could use this to achieve our zero waste goals by providing an expanded recycling service for textiles?
That is a great question. I don't know the answer to that, but I will certainly ask. What I do believe is that they are able to do textile recycling from not only theirs, but from their shop, but from others as well. But that is a great question. I think we'll look into that.
Thanks. I would love some more information.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding these two items for Dale? Seeing none, Ms. Anderson, you'd expressed an interest in making some motions. I'd entertain those now.
Yes, I am happy to make the pair of motions to enter into these subsequent lease agreements.
Thank you. And is there any public comment on either of these two motions? Not seeing a hand raised. Any other questions or comments from council? Not seeing any. Kirsten, could you do two separate roll call votes on these two items? I'd appreciate that.
Yes, I will. I'm going to start with item 3.3. Anderson.
Yes.
Pontos.
Yes.
Harp.
Yes.
Hess.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Merritt.
Yes.
Ramos.
Yes.
Cheryl.
Yes.
Besica.
Yes.
Von Lossberg.
Yes.
And West.
Yes.
We have 11 yeses and 1 absent, and it'll take just a second so I can get over to the other item.
Great, thank you. And that can go on the consent agenda then.
And let's see, on item 3.2, I'm getting it open here. Okay, on item 3.2, Anderson.
Yes.
Contos.
Yes.
Harp.
Yes.
Hess.
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Merritt,
Yes.
Ramos,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika,
Yes.
Von Lossberg,
Yes.
and West.
Yes.
We have 11 yeses and 1 absent.
Great, thank you. That will also go on the consent agenda. That is the end of our agenda items. And I wish we'd spent a little bit more time on the Trinity projects, but oh well, we got to see the pictures and those will be posted online so you can peruse them more. Thank you everyone for your time and we will be adjourned.